I read when you went on your honeymoon, John Gruden was your coach in Tampa, and he wanted you to cut short your honeymoon.
Where do you come up with this stuff? You're amazing.
Okay, so you went to Italy.
Right.
Right?
I'm in Italy, and it's my turn. I'm not the starter in Tampa, but I think he sees potential in me to be the starter. It's going into my second season.
And this is in March, I think you took your honeymoon.
I believe it is. March, maybe early April, right? Somewhere around there. But we haven't started OTAs yet. But back in that time, Gruden loved to go out and we would have walkthroughs. And he'd make people in the building wear jerseys and pennies to simulate the defense, and he'd draw up the cards. And so we could get the new guys up to speed with the offense and things like that. Well, some of the older quarterbacks at the time were not there or around. I think that year it might have been like Brad Johnson, and he was a veteran. He wasn't there quite yet. So I take my vacation, of course, asked for his blessing. Hey, I'm going to go on a honeymoon with my wife, just 2 weeks, and I'll be back.
Did you invite Gruden to your wedding?
No, I did not. No, my wedding's a whole nother story. I got married, proposed to my wife, and got married in 13 days. Okay. That's how quickly it happened. Right. I mean, we could have a whole show on my relationship with my wife.
Did you have to get married?
Oh, we didn't, but I was young, dumb, and, full of whatever and stupid, right? That's all I really was. And my wife and I had broken up for a little bit. Then we got back together, and I was like, listen, I know I want to marry you. If you want to do it now, or if you want to wait till after the season, it's going to be you. And she picked now. And I guess she figured, I might as well get him while he's ready. And we orchestrated a wedding literally in 13 days in the back of my parents' house and had about 50 or 60 people. So we waited till after that season to go on the honeymoon, right?
Yeah.
We go on the honeymoon, and I tell Gruden, like I said, and I would say about day 8, one day I'm like, damn, I got a few voicemails on my phone. Let me check my voicemails. And I have 4 or 5, and 2 of them are Gruden. And I'm the same day, hey man, what are you doing? Hope the honeymoon's going good. Look forward to when you're back. And then literally he must have left a message 2 hours later going hey man, when are you coming back? Next day I wake up. I mean, what are we doing? Are you canoeing back from Italy? And it just went on and went on. And I cut my honeymoon short, because I was feeling the pressure. I really was. We had gone to the last phase of going into Capri, right? The little island off of Italy. We were going to go there for a few days, and my wife could see that it was starting to bother me, and I knew I had a chance to be the starter, and I was like, you know what? The weather's not that great right now, honey. Let's get out of here and go back home. And yep, he got me, and I was back there in no time.
And the payoff is, who started the season as the starting quarterback for the Buccaneers?
I believe that was that year might have been Brian Greasy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian then got hurt, and then I took over, and we went on a little playoff run. Yeah. Yeah, but that's Gruden. That's the way he is, and that's what he expects of his quarterbacks. And at the time, Greasy wasn't around because he was a veteran. We had a guy named Luke McCown. You know Luke McCown? He had just got there, so he didn't understand the offense, and I think that was driving Gruden crazy that he couldn't have these walkthroughs because he was having to teach the quarterback the offense too. So that's why he started to pressure me, but that's the beauty of John.
But do you think Gruden can coexist with his quarterbacks? Because you got this situation with Oakland now.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think Carr is his quarterback by the time he gets to Vegas.
This will be a big year, certainly. I'm not sold on that either. I mean, I think that's a very valid question. I do think he realizes that there are the skeptics out there, and it doesn't look great right now that, Khalil Mack is gone and Amari Cooper's gone, and okay, if he was going to get rid of Derek Carr, it would look like a total renegade type move where you're like, well, why did you even take the job if you were going to just dismantle the team this way? But I do think there's things he likes about Derek Carr as a player, physically, mentally, and I do think that was part of the reason he went there. I know Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator there, he was there originally when they drafted Derek Carr. I know he was a fan of that. So, I mean, he's going to do his best, but we know he can kind of be fickle with that position at times.
And you have 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
And it feels like if you're taking a flyer on somebody,
right,
he would be the guy to take a flyer on Kyler Murray. If he's available when they have these, he could get him in the 20s, but do you think Kyler Murray is there 1 through 15?
Yes.
Or if I give you 6, you do.
And what? Yeah, I mean, as far as do I think he'll take him, or you're saying
No. Do you think Kyler Murray is a top 15? Is he selected in the first 15 picks, or is it 16 on down?
I'm going to say it's 16 on down, but I haven't got into my draft eval yet, and we can certainly have this conversation when we get me out of the Super Bowl, and then I'll start to dive in. But certainly a first rounder. I do think that the size thing will be a little bit of an issue with some teams. And, it's going to be about evaluating the whole class at first and how many quarterbacks are really available or truly first-round prospects. I think that will affect whether it's top 15 or somewhere else. But anytime there's a short quarterback, I think John likes him. I just tell you that because John's a short guy and he's a quarterback. And
he loved Manziel.
He loved Manziel. Loved Russell Wilson when he came out. Loved Baker Mayfield.
Probably loved Flutie too.
I'm sure. And listen, Kyler Murray certainly is talented. I mean, he's got an arm that's a special arm. You see that he's a special talent as far as throwing the running the football. And size is a skill, don't get me wrong, but size is not as important this day and age as it was like, let's say, 80s and 90s football.
He's eventually going to have to win from the pocket.
Right.
And that'll be the big question. But you have Russell Wilson, you have Breeze and Baker Mayfield. Let's take Breeze out of it.
Yeah.
Because, he's that's something that we had never seen and may not see again.
Right.
But Mayfield and Russell, certainly Mayfield, they play the position sort of how Kyler Murray is going to be playing that position, I'm guessing.
I think so. And I think, the one question I had about Baker Mayfield coming out in the draft was how would he play in the pocket? And he answered them pretty quickly with me. He's got a very special ability to dance around in the pocket and avoid rushers and also keep his eyes downfield. And the other reason, like I say, like it's different this day and age as compared to the old days with the quarterbacks, right? Of course, the rules are better for not hitting the quarterback. So you don't have to worry about a guy that's 5'11", maybe 205 pounds getting smushed by Reggie White anymore or anything like that. But at the same time, I do think some of these smaller quarterbacks are farther along, or there's just so much football. It's flag football as you're growing up. It's 7-on-7 camps. It's going to, colleges to go to a camp to show to your skills, and you're doing 7-on-7 there. And I think that, they're just not as flustered with being in the pocket as maybe the smaller quarterbacks back in the day were.
He's Chris Sims, co-host of Pro Football Talk Live with Mike Florio and a Bleacher Report NFL analyst. Are you surprised by any of these Final Four teams in the playoffs?
I am not. I'm really not. If you went back and watched just some of my Bleacher Report stuff in the middle of the season, I kind of said, I think it was week 8. I was like, you can lock it in. These are the 4 best teams. This is what's going to happen, and they're going to be there when all said and done. And my silly co-host, Adam Lefko, he got for our little show, he got we did a little skit where he got fake tattoos saying 1 seed and 2 seed for AFC and NFC. And we played along with that. But yeah, I think these were clearly the 4 best teams all year long. I picked them to win last week, and I'm not surprised to see this matchup.
Which of these 2 games could turn out to be a blowout?
I guess if I had to pick one, I would go the Saints-Rams. If I had to pick one, just because, the Rams being a young team, maybe if they got down early, 14-0, 17-0, Goff gets flustered, makes some immature, this is my first playoff game on the road mistakes, and then all of a sudden it snowballs from there. I would say that, but I just don't see a blowout happening this weekend.
Kansas City's game plan is going to be what?
Is going to be a lot like you always see. They're going to attack and stretch the field and put pressure on you. So great that they have Sammy Watkins back. I think that was a really, under the radar missed factor at the end of the season, because when they have Watkins, it really helps out Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill can go deep. Now Watkins can go underneath. Watkins can go deep, and now Tyreek Hill can come underneath and not always have to be the deep guy. And then you got Kelsey in the middle. But my big thing with Kansas City, and I plead this to Andy Reid, just run the football. I don't care if you run for no yards, but you got to run the ball between 15 to 25 times in this football game. If you become one-dimensional against Belichick and Brian Flores, they're not going to win, in my opinion. They need to just keep that there, 1, to keep the defense and the defensive play calls honest, and then 2, like we saw last week, I believe the biggest gain of the day for Travis Kelce was Mahomes under center, play action pass. And that's a great way always to orchestrate those big plays. And the Saints and Patriots, they have showed that they are masters of designing those type of plays. And I think it helps, Kansas City, Reed, and Mahomes, and keeping the Patriots off the field a little bit too.
Why is Tyreek Hill so great?
Because he is the
Is he the fastest player in the game?
He is the fastest player, I think, in the history of the sport, maybe other than Deion Sanders. I mean, it's
well, Darryl Green.
Darryl Green would be in the conversation
Joey
too.
Galloway.
Right. I played with Joey.
List.
It's a very short list. And I played with Joey, and this is no disrespect to Joey because he was the fastest guy I ever played with. And I played with CJ2K too. And I would say Joey was the fastest I ever played with. But Tyreek Hill is the fastest offensive player I've ever seen in my life on the field.
And a lot of times, guys will have speed. I want quickness more than I want speed.
Sure.
But when you get the guys who can get to top-end speed quicker.
Right.
Like that's... I don't know how we quantify that, but guys who go top end and get there quicker,
yes,
that's always interesting to me.
It is the acceleration factor. Like I'm sure you've seen the highlight a million times this week where he catches the ball down the middle of the field against the Patriots, and then it's him and the safety one-on-one, and you're like, "Oh, the safety's in pretty good position," and you're like, "What? He didn't even get him down in a touch game." You know what I mean? It is a special player. He is. He's a weapon.
McLovin, the poll question for Chris Sims.
Okay, which matchup do you want to see in the Super Bowl? You get obviously the Chiefs Saints, Chiefs Rams, Patriots Saints, Patriots Rams.
Okay.
So you're working for CBS.
I'm Phil Sims and I'm putting on my blazer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think the matchup I would want to see if just from pure TV point,
yeah,
I think would be Saints Chiefs. Saints Chiefs, I think so. It's really tough. Gosh, they're all good. So I'm trying to think about this. Yeah, I think Saints Chiefs or Patriots Saints would be amazing either way. I think you got Saints Chiefs. You got, of course, the Drew Brees. Can he win one more? Against Mahomes and the new young and up and coming whippersnapper. But then I also think, man, Brees, Brady, legacy, 2 all-time greats showing down for one last time for the Super Bowl. Sean Payton, Bill Belichick. There's really no bad possible matchup.
Well, there is a bad matchup for the city of Atlanta.
Oh,
a horrible matchup for the city of Atlanta.
Saints Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't want to see that. They're going to live 28-3 down and then hear the Saints.
And then the Saints come to town with that fan base. All right, when we come back, we're going to have a weapons draft.
Okay.
We take out the quarterbacks.
All right, cool.
So when you're drafting weapons.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to, is Chris going to be the moderator? Is he the host here, Paulie?
I don't know. We haven't worked that out yet because Chris drafts.
Good job. There's only 12 of you back there to figure this out. Just figure it out on the fly. It's all good.
He's the draft guru. They draft all the time on his show.
Also,
yeah, we do.
If you're watching on NBC Sports Network or DirecTV Audience Network, coming up during the live look-in, we're going to play Where Is Your Spleen? And what is it? So Chris lost his spleen when he was playing. So you're an expert.
I am an expert.
So we're going to point on your body. It's like a game of operation where your spleen used to be.
Okay.
And then we'll have you explain what a spleen is for.
Okay.
And why do you only have one?
I don't know.
All right.
I didn't ask the maker of bodies.
Yes,
that.
Fritzy.
So he's going to explain where it is?
Thank
Is that
you,
what you're
Fritzy.
saying?
Explain. Thank you. Very well done.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you. We'll come back with Chris Sims, and we'll get to your phone calls coming up on this Meet Friday after this. Yeah, so Chris and I will just talk about who you draft.
Yeah, so
you guys.
We'll say a name.
Yeah, and then he can say.
How many rounds?
Okay, so we're gonna know your spleen.
Right.
You had your spleen removed.
I did.
Nearly died
Got a
on the
scar
football
right
field.
down.
No
Okay,
hints. No hints.
Well, that's where the scars. I mean, you guys
Okay.
knew it was in the chest. I hope.
Okay, all right, all right.
I would have been. I would have gone back
okay.
here.
Okay.
I was going back
Now,
over here.
act as if
The
Chris
spleen.
is just a mannequin.
It's where it is.
I want you to point where you think his spleen used to be. Seton, you go first.
I just showed you. It was like.
Okay.
Like back.
You go
over there.
right there.
those are your
Okay, now hold on.
kidneys.
Hold on.
Yeah,
No,
down more.
Paulie.
I'm going to go here because I thought it was a rib that may have hurt it.
Okay, hold on. Fritzy.
Yeah, I thought it was somewhere in here, between the ribs and your spine.
Pick one spot,
I'm
Todd.
gonna say right around here.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm going to go just a
McLovin.
little bit lower than Paulie, right in there.
I mean, I think you're the closest.
I was going to go down around and.
You just wanted to touch my
Yeah. Wow. That was a little soft.
A little soft. It's just a sweatshirt. It is getting soft.
Okay. Where's your spleen?
It's like right here. Right here.
And how? So the scar is how big?
So the scar is from the bottom of my chest plate to my belly
Take your
button.
shirt off.
Let's go.
Even
Let's
if
see,
you
let's see
really
this. Yeah, let's see it.
How about?
There we go.
Oh, that's not that bad.
It looks like
That's not
Chris,
that
Actually, it's shrunken over
like
the years.
Christopher on The Sopranos.
Damn, I'm dry.
We need to know where the role of the spleen supposed to
Oh,
go.
now what does the spleen do, McLovin? During the live look-in, we played Know Your Spleen. Chris had his spleen removed. He got injured in a game, nearly died.
Yep.
And we wanted to know where his spleen used to be and also what the spleen does. I think, McLovin, you guessed correctly, or the closest to.
I pointed at Chris's body like it was a game of Operation, which is kind of weird.
Okay, and then we were trying to figure out what the spleen does, and everybody went around the room, and then Paulie was the one who had the definition.
I thought it was the organ in your body that helps you stave off infections.
Okay, the fact that he says stave
off.
Paulie, that's it. Did you Google?
Challenge flag.
Did I cheat in any way?
Yes.
I swear I didn't.
But you said stave off.
I thought I remember watching the coverage when Chris got hurt saying this could affect him later in life. I remember them saying that when he was hurt.
But you said stave off.
Yeah.
The technical term that he probably wouldn't come up with originally.
Yeah, if you
right?
go to WebMD, which you have a relationship with WebMD,
Who knows?
stave off.
I mean, this is just off the top of my head.
Yeah, but I think it staves off.
Did I ever consult?
Old red blood cells
Yes.
stored there?
Yeah.
I said regulate insulin, which is the pancreas. I've been pointed out on Twitter,
Right.
which is similar. It's
And
related.
Fritzy, who's had everything,
You would think I would know. I pointed totally to the wrong spot.
you pointed to his kidneys, didn't you?
I pointed like somewhere between his rib cage
Oh, okay.
and like the side of his body was totally off.
I mean, I don't know. If I was going to guess, I'd say the platelets, maybe white blood cells. Yeah.
Best way to watch all the action. This year's Australian Open is on DirecTV channels 701 through 707. January 13th through the 19th. 6 full channels of coverage throughout the early rounds of the tournament. To order DirecTV, call 1-800-DirecTV. Do we want to do a Meat Friday song for Chris before we get to the weapons draft? We have some time.
Boy, that's a lot of pressure.
Now, we have the Traeger Meat Friday here, and we have our audience contribute Meat Friday songs.
Oh, this one's right on
Some are
topic.
originals, and some are just covers. All right, here we go.
We're going to go out to Peter in New York.
All right.
Never made it through a Friday without a little bit of Traeger grilling. Chef from Traeger and the German kid, smoking meats that are oh so filling. And this is how I like my meat. Fritzy, why section roll? See, please don't use that again. Sausage or pork, I don't know what that meant. Now back to the smoked meats, chicken wings and prime rib.
All right. Old Nickelback.
That's really good. I mean, really good.
Are you a Nickelback fan?
I'm not necessarily. I mean, I know that song, of course, but
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always here on Meat Fridays usually.
Yeah.
It does smell delicious. I've yet to partake in eating it. My mom, when she sees me on this show, though, it kills her. She wants to come here and clean for you guys, just so you know that. My mom, Diana Sims, Dirty Diana, as we call her at home, she wants to clean.
Wait, what's there to clean?
She just thinks it looks frat house-ish. Like she needs to get around here with some rubber gloves and clean some things up.
No. We did this
Deliberately.
We want this look.
I know you do. I know. I tried to explain that to
Yeah.
my mom, but she's a mom. I don't know what
When
to
you
say.
have that distressed look with furniture, like they try to do that,
Yeah.
we did that with the man cave.
Right. My mom and my Aunt Wendy. My Aunt Wendy is a huge watcher of you, Dan. So, just.
Well, Wendy, if Wendy would like to come here with Dirty Diane.
Right. Dirty Diana. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. This is Chris Sims versus the Danettes with it's a weapons draft. So the most important player, non-quarterback this weekend. And McLovin.
Wait, are we going to do most, I was thinking just skill positions. You want to put Aaron Donald in there or maybe just skill positions?
Well, no,
weapons?
that's a weapon. I mean, you want to do skill positions? That makes it easier?
It's a little easier.
Oh, what are you so worried about? Well, you know who the good D linemen are. Like, come on.
No one wants to hear us put Andrew Whitworth in the third round.
Nobody's going to pick him. Like Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, Justin Houston. They got to be in the mix here. They're weapons. They're big weapons this weekend.
Wait, can we vote on this, Dan? The four of us don't want them in there.
Okay, fine.
Weapon is almost primarily used in an offensive category.
Okay.
But you do have Aaron Donald, who's different as a weapon. But okay.
All right, fine. That's cool. I'm
No.
good.
All right. Here we go. So, Chris, you got first pick since you're the guest. So the number one weapon, non-quarterback this weekend will be.
Well, you got to go with the guy we just talked about a little earlier, Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
I mean, that is the guy I look at to be weapon number one in the NFL through the whole season. And you've heard the Patriots talk about him a little bit this week. He's a difference maker. You have to know where he is at all times, and it's not even what he does with the ball in his hands. It's the effect he has on your defense all the time because you are scared of him going deep. And then, of course, that compromises your underneath coverage and his ability to, we saw reverse for a touchdown last week. So he would be weapon number one.
It was just an answer, like you just picked the name.
Oh,
like,
sorry. You didn't need all the answers.
You didn't need to be an analyst here. Show off.
Wait, haven't you ever watched the draft on PFT? This is how we do it.
Okay. Fritzy, I'll let you go next.
I'm going to take big Travis Kelce is going to come up huge.
Kelce. All right.
I like that.
Seton O'Connor.
I'm deferring to Andrew.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to let him take my picks.
Okay, McLovin.
Well, so Chris started out with Taysom Hill, then Todd went Travis Kelce. I'm going to go
No, not
Mike.
Taysom Hill.
Oh, I was confused. I didn't hear that long explanation. Okay. I'm going to go Michael Thomas.
Oh, when we go off air, you're in trouble. I'm just telling you.
All right, Paulie.
Good one.
You're going to be surprised by this. Julian Edelman. I think he's unstoppable, and the worse the weather, the better he is.
Wow. All right, Chris.
Todd Gurley.
All right. That's the right choice. Fritzy?
I am going to go with...
A lot of people.
You didn't do a lot of research, did you?
You know what? I'm going to take the former Broncos. C.J. Anderson's going to come up big after taking Dallas down.
It's only because you don't know any other names there.
C.J. Anderson was huge against Dallas, and he's going to be huge again against the Saints.
McLovin.
Okay, Seton and I are teaming up on this. He wants to go Sammy Watkins, but I want to go top available Patriot. Do I go with this James White or Sony Michel Seton?
You would take James White. In
You
that
guys
scenario.
are absolutely idiots. Okay.
We are?
Yes.
Wait, who
Why? Who
miss
are
there?
we missing? That's so obvious.
I'll tell you with the
Kamara,
next
Kamara,
pick.
we want Kamara.
No, you already made your pick.
No, we want Kamara, but I think we have the next pick.
No, it was already in. It was already in.
The pick was in.
Yeah,
We
that
thought
was
Kamara
my
was
pick,
gone.
not Andrew.
Okay. Paulie?
Alvin Kamara.
I'm thinking, wait, Alvin Kamara.
Value pick.
Can we do a third round? Do we know enough weapons here? Chris?
I got all right, so let's see. So they were giving them Kamara.
No. They don't get Kamara. Paulie got him. They
Paulie
got
got-
C.J. Anderson.
Okay, so let me think about this for a second because I got to cancel out all these names. And Michael Thomas is gone. Okay, I'm going to go just as a skill guy here. I'm going to go Stephon Gilmore of the New England Patriots. Okay, are we staying
No,
offense?
no, offense.
Offense. I'm sorry. Okay, I forgot about that aspect.
All right,
of it.
do you want me to help you?
No.
There's two guys that you can.
I'm going to go Brandon Cooks.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Fritzy?
Sony Michel.
Okay. McLovin?
I'm going Mr. Taysom Hill, who can throw a touchdown, catch a
Okay.
touchdown,
All
and
right.
get
It's a
a
good
fourth
one.
down.
Okay, I like it.
Paulie?
Is Travis Kelce still on the board?
He's not. He went number 2 overall.
There's a big mess. I couldn't
I
hear
know.
anything.
I'm confused too.
Damian Williams, the running back, he's not getting any pub.
I would have gone
And if
with,
they get a big lead, he's going to have 150.
I would have gone with Woods.
Yeah.
The Rams wide receiver.
Yeah, that would have been my next one, but it's all right. Good job.
Okay.
That was good.
Yeah, it's all
Stephon Gilmore? I mean, we had a 10-minute argument about being skill position players. You tried Gilmore.
I know.
He was stalling. He was absolutely stalling. Chris, thanks for stopping by.
Always love
If you
it.
want to stay, the London Broil, we're got that on the grill.
Thank you very
Good luck.
much.
All right.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.